Okay. Hi there. My name is Karina Holosko. I am the editor of COVID Rebels 2021. And I'm very privileged to have today with me poet Neen Butterscotch Goldworth. Sometimes it's Nina, sometimes it's Neen. And hi, Nina, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, hello.
Are you here?
Welcome. Why don't you just start telling me where you were born and where you grew up?
Okay. I was born at Columbia Presbyterian Hospital on Veterans Day 1951. I grew up both in Harlem, part of my life, and also in Highbridge, Bronx, New York. And there was a lot of environmental changes that I had to go through because I had to travel a lot in my young years, which was very challenging.
And tell me, when did you start writing?
I started writing quite young. Initially, I was about 7.5 or 8 years old, but I didn't actually get everything down on paper until I was 13 because my parents were divorcing and there was a lot of havoc at home.
Interesting. So tell me about some of the emotional challenges that you faced.
Well, the emotional challenge was that, my grandmother was a writer, and she was raising me because my father got custody of me in a custody battle, and she didn't, because she didn't speak English, she couldn't really assist me with a lot of my emotional and intellectual challenges. So, and because my father was absent because he was working, I was pretty much on my own for a youngster, and it was a bit too much for me. So that's why I had cognitive and emotional challenges, because it was a little too much for me to handle, and I felt, even though, I was very interested in reading and writing, and becoming a teacher. It was a little kind of not so. I was not able to acclimate to my environment.
Right. Well, I would like to hear you acclimate some of your very wonderful poems. Would you like to start by reading one for us today?
Okay, I'm going to read a poem about, since we're on the subject of cognition and how people, get through crisis in that sense. I'm going to read the poem, Why My Life Has Been a Tapestry.
Great, thank you.
It's called, it starts like this. You must think positively, not be overcome by potential travesty. Keep away from adversity. My good friends, my heart mends. The sphere of influence is like weaving and sewing as the seamstress tends, so the heart heals. Love and guidance is what renders a quality of life that no longer offends, the existence of friendship, which throughout there is no pretense. And that is what is the most important. It is that the love is inherent. The woven result of the work and process is artful in its majesty, and love gains respect through hard work and satisfaction. That is what takes precedence. That is apparent, and it is why my life has been a tapestry.
Oh, wow, that's very beautiful, Nina. Thank you very, very much. You got another for us?
Yeah, okay. I have one. I actually have a poem that I wrote along the same lines. It goes with my grandmother's poem. My grandmother has a beautiful poem, and I would really like to recite it because she was marvelously talented, and I believe that I, got some of that talent. Let me see if I can find her poem. She has it available to me, and that's what I do all the time when I prepare my stuff. Okay, here it is. You want to hear mine? I'll read mine first, and then I'll read hers.
Okay, go ahead.
The language of the world travesty. I want to be fluent in as many languages as I can be. I will embrace the world as I embrace all of man. Yes, many a man has suffered many a wound, and I can't get my emotions to subside. As my thoughts I try to hide. I have seen the current wistful people unhappy and hungry and strife. I know it to be a very, very hard life. The life's hardest boat ride, as I did say, can determine one's destiny and fate, and the ride itself causes some hesitancy. Why hate? And then she wrote, sing and pray. Sing of a world fair and free, of a new bright life to be. Man no longer suffering pain, nations to be friends again. Sing of a garden filled with flowers, and doves of peace in golden bowers. Flying beneath each twinkling star, bringing a message from afar. None to be poor and none to be rich, all to have an equal niche. Sing of a morning gladdened by the sun. Would I sing when day is done?
Beautiful. So your grandmother and you both were poets, right?
My grandmother was a world famous poet. She actually was well known around the world, and she was educated when it was very unusual for a woman, a farm girl, to be educated.
Wow.
And she was very lucky. She ran into a wealthy, Jewish woman who gave her an education. And she was very grateful.
Wow, wow. Where did your grandmother grow up?
She grew up near Warsaw in Poland.
Oh, wow. And then she came to the States when?
Pardon me?
When did she come to the United States?
She was 19 when she came to the United States, which was in 1919.
Uh-huh.
And because she was either born in 1899 or 1900. My grandfather was 7 years older than her. His name was Benjamin, and they traveled to America because they wanted a new life. And she actually wasn't. She had been writing when she was very young, but she actually didn't write her books. She didn't publish her books till around between late 1960s and 1982 is when she published the book of poems that I have. And the reason why she published, she went back to Europe to have an operation because she had something wrong with her body, and so she met 3 poet critics on a train, and they told her that she should write, some prose, short stories, and that's what she did, and she became very well known for it because a lot of it was very much in tune with the times, and she talked about cultural things of all natures,
Mm-hmm.
of all man's natures.
Nina, could you tell me what her name was, her last name that she used?
Okay, her name was Bella Goldworth.
Oh, it was Goldworth. Okay, interesting. Wonderful. Okay, now can we have another poem from you, please?
Okay.
Hello?
Yes?
Okay, I thought I lost you there for a minute.
No, you still have me.
Okay. What are you reading next?
I'm going to read, I want to read that poem that we talked about, that's dividing into 3 sections.
Yes.
If it's okay with you.
Absolutely.
Unless you want a shorter one.
No, that sounds terrific. Go ahead. That sounds wonderful.
Okay. A Dear Sarima poem of the summer seasonal requirements to spring and autumn. Word Pearl Poetessa, mean butterscotch. Part 1. Spring, a time of flowery buds, bright green, scented purity of the odorous perfume inspiring. Blossoms bring the light grammars to thrive in the sun. The odor of the chemise is metrically bare, as if the sun is only strutting her stuff to bring new essence to the air. The showers of autumn become the heart of an orchid, fruity flies, or cacti plains, a part of the older America the Beautiful song. Part 2. I wish autumn could end the harsh winter's bitter cold, or summer heat, and wherefore rain. So the focus will be on summer's serene winds of change on fragrant hills. Poetry created over thoughts of cooking, which made nickname poetry cook remain. An idea twice refrained and since compiled, becoming edibly instilled. So the road not taken leads to hope and projecting lessons for child's pain and will. Even someone forsaken can find their mind's eye and style in God's frame, like a mosaic of fall leaves in colorful display, brightly mixed mural in a panoramic pile of aim. So feel renewal connected to each natural name and combo scenic form as a pleasing game. Part 3. My cousin was pleased to explore the woods beside her new house. The pine cones offer patterns for use in art and arrays of huckleberries saved for baking cake, which can be gathered there. This entire clip is a satisfaction understood to be food or fare, prayed for and saved to study alchemy to save the human race. Seen with a different drummer in a festival of woodwinds beside the forest boughs, as the beavers build and the sleepiness of the squirrel reflects our own languor and our mounds, those offered in a play space to climb upon. All seasons, like a spice, despair or pear, close as they start, a longing for the treasured recipe and warmth of the fulfilled heart.
Wow, that's beautiful, Nina. That's beautiful. I wanted to ask you what would, any advice for how people can get through life's challenges?
My advice, the best advice is to always be honest in your relationships, and see a therapist if you have a problem, and try and do creative work as much as possible. Get in touch with your creative side, because if you find yourself in the wrong career, it can make you very unhappy and you may not even realize it. And also, another thing I would recommend is to communicate with a grain of salt. In other words, make sure that you don't step on anyone's toes, with something that is inappropriate as far as expressing an opinion
I hear
might
you.
be
I hear you.
argumentative.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Nina, on that note, I'd like to thank you for your time and your beautiful words. And if anybody wants to read more of Nina's work, you can find it in the anthologies, including the poems that she read here today. Thank you, Nina.
You're welcome. I'd like you to call me later if you can, Kate.
I will. Bye-bye.
Bye.